For every moment of your life, your body has been working in ways you rarely notice. As you listen to these words, your heart is beating, your lungs are drawing in air, and trillions of cells are carrying out countless tasks to keep you alive. Signals race through your nervous system at incredible speeds. Your immune system stands guard against unseen threats. Deep within every cell, tiny molecular machines are hard at work, repairing damage, producing energy, and following instructions written in a code billions of years old. The human body is the most familiar thing in the world, and yet it remains one of the greatest mysteries we know. It is a machine unlike any other. It can heal wounds, adapt to new challenges, store memories, learn new skills, and survive in environments ranging from frozen polar regions to scorching deserts. It is the product of millions of years of evolution and one of the most complex systems ever discovered. Tonight, we will take a journey through this incredible machine. We will begin with the tiny cells that form the foundation of all life. We will explore the brain, the organ that allows us to think, dream, and understand the world around us. We will follow the path of blood through the body, discover how every breath sustains us, learn how food becomes energy, and see how our immune system protects us from disease. Along the way, we will uncover the remarkable systems that allow us to move, see, hear, and experience the world. And finally, we will explore sleep, aging, and the long journey of the human body through life itself. So get comfortable, relax, and join me as we explore the incredible machine inside you. This is the story of the human body. Chapter 1: The Building Blocks of Life. If you were asked what the human body is made of, you might answer with bones, muscles, organs, blood, or skin. And while all of those answers are correct, they are only part of the story. To truly understand the human body, we must begin at a much smaller scale, far beyond what the eye can see, far beyond even the smallest visible structures. Deep inside your body exists a microscopic world of astonishing complexity, a world made up of trillions upon trillions of tiny living units. These units are called cells. Every part of you is built from them. Your skin is made of cells, your muscles are made of cells, your brain is made of cells, even your bones, which seem solid and unchanging, are made of living cells, constantly maintaining and rebuilding their structure. In fact, every human begins life as a single cell. One microscopic cell, invisible without magnification, and yet from that single cell emerges a complete human being. A body containing trillions of cells organized into tissues, organs, and systems. It is one of the most extraordinary transformations in nature. The discovery of cells changed our understanding of life forever. For most of human history, people had no idea they existed. The world appeared exactly as it could be seen with the naked eye. Then, in the 17th century, new instruments allowed scientists to peer into previously invisible realms. Among these pioneers was a Dutch tradesman named Antony van Leeuwenhoek. Using microscopes far more powerful than those of his time, he observed tiny organisms swimming in drops of water. For the first time, humanity realized that an entire world of life existed beyond ordinary vision. As microscopes improved, scientists discovered that all living things shared a common feature. They were composed of cells. plants, animals, fungi, even the smallest microbes. Life came in many forms, but cells were the universal building blocks. Today, scientists estimate that the average human body contains roughly 30 to 40 trillion cells. The exact number varies from person to person, but the scale is difficult to comprehend. If each cell were the size of a grain of sand, the collection would form a mountain, and every one of those cells is alive. Each is a tiny biological machine carrying out countless tasks every second. Inside a single cell, thousands of chemical reactions occur continuously. Nutrients are processed, energy is produced, proteins are assembled, waste is removed, damage is repaired, information is copied and transmitted. All of this happens automatically, every moment of every day. Most cells are so small that thousands could fit on the head of a pin. Yet despite their size, they possess remarkable complexity. For many years, scientists believed cells were little more than simple sacks of living material. Modern technology has revealed something very different. A cell resembles a bustling city. It contains specialized structures, each responsible for different tasks. Some generate energy, others manufacture proteins, some transport materials from one location to another. Together, they form an incredibly organized system. At the center of most human cells lies a structure known as the nucleus. The nucleus contains one of the most important substances in the known universe, DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, the molecule that carries the instructions for building and maintaining life. If cells are the building blocks of the body, DNA is the instruction manual. Every cell in your body contains an extraordinary amount of information. The DNA inside a single human cell contains approximately 3 billion genetic letters arranged in a precise sequence. These letters act like a biological code. They provide instructions for building proteins, regulating cellular activity, and guiding development. The discovery of DNA ranks among the greatest scientific achievements in history. For centuries, people understood that traits could be inherited from parents. Children often resembled their mothers and fathers. But nobody understood how this information was stored or transmitted. The answer lay hidden inside every cell. In 1953, scientists uncovered the famous double helix structure of DNA. The image has since become one of the most recognizable symbols in science. Two strands twist around one another like a spiraling ladder. Within this elegant structure lies the blueprint for an entire human being. What makes DNA truly remarkable is that the same basic molecule exists in nearly every living organism on Earth. The DNA inside your body is built from the same chemical components found in plants, birds, whales, and even bacteria. This shared biological language reveals a profound truth. All life on Earth is related. Every living thing is connected through a common evolutionary history, stretching back billions of years. Yet DNA alone does nothing. Instructions are only useful if they can be read and acted upon. Cells constantly read sections of DNA and use those instructions to build proteins. Proteins perform much of the actual work of life. Some form structures within the body. Others transport oxygen. Many act as enzymes, speeding up chemical reactions that would otherwise occur too slowly to sustain life. Together, DNA and proteins create the foundation upon which every biological process depends. As cells divide and reproduce, DNA is copied and passed along. This process allows the body to grow, repair damage, and replace worn-out cells. And replacement is happening all the time. Many people imagine the body as a fixed structure. In reality, it is constantly changing. Every day, millions of cells die and are replaced. The lining of your intestines renews itself rapidly. Your skin continually sheds old cells and produces new ones. Your blood cells are constantly replenished. Even parts of your skeleton undergo continuous remodeling. You are, in a very real sense, rebuilding yourself throughout your life. This constant renewal helps explain one of the most remarkable abilities of living organisms: healing. When you cut your skin, cells rush to repair the damage. When bones break, specialized cells begin rebuilding the injured area. When infections occur, armies of immune cells mobilize to defend the body. Much of this activity happens without conscious awareness. Your body is constantly maintaining itself behind the scenes. Of course, not all cells are identical. As the body develops, cells become specialized. A nerve cell performs a different role than a skin cell. Despite these differences, nearly all contain the same DNA. The distinction lies in which instructions each cell chooses to use. A brain cell activates genes useful for communication and information processing. A muscle cell activates genes useful for movement and strength. This specialization allows cells to work together efficiently. Groups of similar cells form tissues. Tissues combine to create organs. Organs cooperate within larger systems. The heart pumps blood. The lungs provide oxygen. The digestive system extracts nutrients. The brain coordinates everything. Each component depends on countless others. The body functions because trillions of cells cooperate toward a common goal. The level of organization is extraordinary, and it all begins with a single cell. Every human life starts when two reproductive cells combine, one from the mother, one from the father. Together they form a new cell containing a unique combination of genetic information. That single cell begins dividing. 1 becomes 2, 2 become 4, 4 become 8. The process continues. Within days, hundreds of cells exist. Soon there are thousands, then millions, then billions. Gradually, specialized tissues emerge, organs form, limbs develop, a nervous system appears. Over time, an entire human body takes shape. Every person who has ever lived began this way. From one tiny cell carrying the instructions for an entire lifetime. It is a process so familiar that we often overlook how astonishing it truly is. The human body is built from microscopic components. Yet together they create thought, movement, memory, emotion, creativity, and consciousness itself. Everything that makes you who you are begins with cells. But understanding the building blocks of life raises another question. How do trillions of cells coordinate their activities? How does the body process information, form memories, and create awareness? The answer lies within the most complex structure known to science. A structure containing billions of interconnected cells working together in ways we are still striving to understand. And that remarkable structure is the subject of our next chapter. Chapter 2. The brain inside the darkness of your skull sits an object unlike anything else in the known universe. It weighs only about 1.5 kilograms. It is soft, fragile, and composed mostly of water. Yet this small organ allows you to think, remember, imagine, dream, learn, and understand the world around you. Every idea you have ever had, every memory you have ever formed, every emotion you have ever felt, every sound, sight, smell, and sensation you have ever experienced, all of it exists because of the activity taking place inside your brain. Scientists have explored the deepest oceans and studied distant galaxies billions of light years away. Yet many researchers still consider the human brain to be the most complex object we know, and perhaps the most mysterious. For most of history, people had little understanding of how the brain worked. Ancient civilizations often believed the heart was the center of thought and emotion. The brain was sometimes viewed as little more than an unimportant organ. Over time, however, observations began revealing a different story. Injuries to certain parts of the brain could alter personality, memory, movement, or speech. The evidence became impossible to ignore. The brain was not merely another organ. It was the body's control center. Everything depended on it. The brain belongs to a larger system known as the nervous system. This vast communication network extends throughout the entire body. It connects your brain to your muscles, organs, skin, eyes, ears, and virtually every other part of you. Without this network, the body would be unable to coordinate its countless activities. Messages would never arrive at their destinations. Movement would become impossible. Awareness would disappear. At the heart of this system are specialized cells known as neurons. Neurons are the primary information carriers of the nervous system. Unlike many other cells in the body, they are designed specifically for communication. Each neuron can receive signals, process information, and transmit messages to other cells. The human brain contains approximately 86 billion neurons. That number alone is difficult to comprehend. If you counted one neuron every second, day and night without stopping, it would take thousands of years to reach 86 billion. Yet neurons do not work alone. Each neuron forms connections with many others. Some create thousands of connections. Together, these connections form an immense network. Scientists estimate the brain contains hundreds of trillions of communication points known as synapses. These synapses allow neurons to exchange information. The resulting network is so vast that it has often been compared to a universe within your head. Whenever you think a thought, move a finger, recognize a face, or remember a childhood experience, patterns of activity travel through this network. Tiny electrical impulses move along neurons. Chemical messengers carry signals between cells. The process happens continuously, every second of every day, even while you sleep. One of the most remarkable features of the brain is its ability to process information at incredible speed. Consider what happens when you touch a hot surface. Specialized sensory cells in your skin detect the heat. Signals travel through nerves toward the brain. The brain rapidly interprets the danger and sends instructions back to your muscles. Your hand withdraws almost instantly. The entire sequence occurs in a fraction of a second, without conscious effort. The brain is constantly receiving information from the world around you. Your eyes deliver visual data. Your ears provide sound. Your skin reports pressure, temperature, and texture. Your nose detects smells. Your tongue identifies flavors. At any given moment, an enormous stream of information flows toward the brain, yet most of it never reaches conscious awareness. The brain acts as a filter. It selects what seems important and ignores much of the rest. Otherwise, the sheer volume of information would overwhelm us. Even something as simple as reading these words requires astonishing coordination. Your eyes move across the page. Visual information is processed. Patterns are recognized as letters. Letters become words. Words become meaning. Memories are accessed. Concepts are understood, all within moments. The brain performs these tasks so effortlessly that we rarely stop to appreciate how extraordinary they are. Among the brain's most fascinating abilities is memory. Memory allows experiences to persist beyond the moment in which they occur. Without memory, learning would be impossible. Every day would begin as if the previous day had never happened. Scientists still do not fully understand how memories are stored. Yet research suggests that memories emerge through changes in the strength of connections between neurons. Experiences alter the brain's wiring. Each new skill, fact, or experience leaves a physical trace within the network. In a sense, your life story is written into the structure of your brain. Learning depends upon this ability to change. For many years, scientists believed the adult brain was largely fixed. Modern research has revealed something very different. The brain is remarkably adaptable. This ability is known as neuroplasticity. New connections can form. Existing connections can strengthen or weaken. The brain can reorganize itself in response to experience. When people learn a language, practice an instrument, or develop a new skill, their brains physically change. The organ inside your skull today is not exactly the same as it was years ago. It has been shaped by everything you have experienced. Emotion represents another extraordinary function of the brain. Fear, joy, sadness, love, curiosity. These feelings play a central role in human life. For centuries, emotions were often viewed as separate from rational thought. Modern neuroscience suggests the relationship is far more complex. Emotions influence decision-making, learning, memory, and behavior. Without emotion, many of the choices we make every day would become surprisingly difficult. The brain evolved not only to think, but also to feel. Different regions of the brain contribute to different functions. Some areas process visual information. Others help coordinate movement. Certain regions are heavily involved in memory. Others play important roles in emotion, language, or planning. The brain rarely works as isolated compartments. Most tasks involve cooperation among multiple regions. It functions less like a collection of separate machines and more like a vast interconnected network. Perhaps the greatest mystery of all is consciousness. Consciousness is your awareness of yourself and the world around you. It is the experience of being you, the sensation of seeing colors, hearing music, remembering the past, and imagining the future. Scientists have learned a tremendous amount about neurons, brain regions, and neural networks. Yet one question remains unanswered. How does the activity of billions of cells produce conscious experience? Why should electrical and chemical signals create thoughts, feelings, and awareness? Nobody knows for certain. Some researchers consider consciousness one of the deepest mysteries in all of science. Despite centuries of investigation, the answer remains elusive. The brain also possesses a remarkable ability to predict the future. Not in a supernatural sense, rather it constantly anticipates what might happen next. When you catch a ball, your brain predicts its path. When you listen to someone speak, your brain predicts upcoming words. When you walk through a familiar room, your brain anticipates where objects will be located. These predictions allow us to navigate the world efficiently. Much of what we perceive is shaped not only by incoming information, but by the brain's expectations. In many ways, your experience of reality is a collaboration between the outside world and the predictions generated inside your head. The more scientists learn about the brain, the more astonishing it becomes. This organ generates language, art, music, mathematics, science, and culture. It allowed humanity to build cities, explore oceans, and travel into space. It enabled us to study the history of life and uncover the secrets of the universe. And it did all of this using the same biological machinery that evolved through millions of years of natural selection. Yet the brain does not work alone. Its billions of neurons require a constant supply of oxygen and nutrients. Every thought, memory, and emotion depends upon an uninterrupted flow of resources. Without that supply, even the most powerful brain can function for only a short time. To understand how the brain stays alive, we must follow the pathways that carry oxygen and nutrients throughout the body. We must explore the remarkable system that connects every cell to every other cell. A system driven by a tireless organ that never rests, the heart. And that is where our journey continues in the next chapter. Chapter 3. The heart and blood. At this very moment, as you listen to these words, a powerful pump inside your chest is hard at work. It has been working every second of your life. It worked while you slept last night. It worked while you were reading, walking, eating, and dreaming. It worked before you were born, and unlike most muscles in your body, it never takes a break. This remarkable organ is your heart. For centuries, the heart has occupied a special place in human culture. Ancient civilizations viewed it as the center of life, emotion, courage, and even the soul itself. Poets wrote about it. Artists celebrated it, lovers dedicated it to one another. While we now know that thoughts and emotions originate in the brain, the heart remains one of the most important organs in the human body. Without it, life would come to an end within minutes. The heart's job sounds deceptively simple. It pumps blood. But this simple task supports every other system in the body. Every cell depends upon a steady supply of oxygen and nutrients. Every cell produces waste that must be removed. The heart serves as the engine that keeps this vast transportation network moving. Roughly the size of your fist, the heart sits slightly left of center within your chest. Despite its modest size, it is incredibly powerful. An average adult heart beats around 100,000 times every day. Over the course of a lifetime, it may beat more than 3 billion times. Few machines built by humans can match such reliability. The heart is made primarily of specialized muscle tissue. Unlike the muscles used to move your arms or legs, cardiac muscle is designed for endurance. It contracts continuously throughout life without becoming exhausted.
This constant activity requires an enormous amount of energy. In fact, the heart is among the hardest working organs in the body. To understand how it functions, imagine a highly efficient pump with 4 separate chambers. The upper chambers are called atria. The lower chambers are called ventricles. Together, they coordinate the movement of blood throughout the body. With each heartbeat, blood is pushed forward through a carefully organized system of vessels. The process repeats over and over again, day after day, year after year, the rhythm of life itself. What makes this rhythm possible is an electrical system built directly into the heart. Specialized cells generate tiny electrical signals that spread through the cardiac muscle. These signals tell the heart exactly when to contract. In a sense, every heartbeat begins with a microscopic spark. The result is a steady, coordinated pumping action that rarely misses a beat. Most of us are only aware of our heartbeat when something changes, after climbing stairs, during exercise, when frightened, when excited. Under normal circumstances, the heart performs its work quietly in the background. Yet every beat is part of an extraordinary process. The blood flowing through your body forms one of the most extensive transportation networks on Earth. If all the blood vessels in a single adult were laid end to end, they would stretch for approximately 100,000 kilometers. That distance is enough to circle the Earth more than twice. Through this vast network, blood delivers essential supplies to every corner of the body. A complete circuit through the body takes only about a minute. By the end of a day, your heart has pumped thousands of liters through your circulatory system. Blood itself is far more complex than many people realize. At first glance, it appears to be a simple red liquid. Under a microscope, however, it becomes an entire ecosystem of specialized cells and substances. The most numerous of these are red blood cells. Their task is one of the most important jobs in the body, transporting oxygen. Red blood cells contain a protein called hemoglobin. Hemoglobin binds to oxygen molecules and carries them through the bloodstream. Without this system, oxygen could not efficiently reach the trillions of cells that depend upon it. Each red blood cell is shaped like a tiny flexible disc. This unusual shape increases surface area and helps the cells squeeze through narrow blood vessels. Millions of new red blood cells are produced every second within the bone marrow. At the same time, older cells are removed and recycled. The body constantly renews its blood supply, yet red blood cells are only one part of the story. The bloodstream also contains white blood cells. These cells belong to the immune system and help defend the body against disease. They patrol the circulation, searching for signs of infection and responding to threats. We will explore them in greater detail in a later chapter. Blood also contains platelets. These tiny cell fragments play a critical role in preventing blood loss. When a blood vessel is damaged, platelets rush to the site and begin forming a clot. Without them, even small injuries could become life-threatening. The liquid portion of blood is called plasma. Plasma acts as a transportation medium for nutrients, hormones, proteins, waste products, and countless other substances. In many ways, blood is like a moving river, carrying everything the body's cells need to survive. Of course, transportation requires roads. In the circulatory system, those roads are blood vessels. There are 3 primary types. Arteries carry blood away from the heart. Veins return blood back toward it. Capillaries connect the two. Capillaries are the smallest blood vessels in the body. Some are so narrow that red blood cells must pass through them one at a time.
Yet these tiny vessels are where the most important exchanges occur. Oxygen leaves the bloodstream and enters tissues. Nutrients move into cells. Waste products move out. Every second, trillions of microscopic transactions take place throughout your body. The scale is almost impossible to imagine. The circulatory system serves every organ. The brain depends upon a constant blood supply. Muscles require oxygen during movement. The digestive system absorbs nutrients and transfers them into circulation. Even the skin relies upon blood flow to remain healthy. No cell exists in isolation. Everything is connected through this network. One of the most remarkable aspects of the circulatory system is its ability to adapt. During exercise, muscles require additional oxygen. The heart responds by beating faster and more forcefully. Blood vessels adjust their diameter. Circulation increases where it is needed most. The body constantly monitors changing conditions and responds accordingly. This flexibility helps maintain a stable internal environment, despite changing circumstances. Scientists refer to this balance as homeostasis, the ability of the body to maintain relatively stable conditions even as the outside world changes. The circulatory system plays a central role in this process. It distributes heat, regulates temperature, delivers hormones, removes waste, supports healing, and sustains every living cell. Yet there is one critical resource that blood cannot provide on its own: oxygen. Every red blood cell depends upon a continuous supply. Without oxygen, the body's energy production rapidly begins to fail. The heart can transport oxygen, but it cannot create it. For that, the body depends upon another extraordinary system, a system that operates so automatically that most people rarely think about it. Every few seconds, it quietly performs one of the most important actions required for life: the simple act of breathing. And that is where our journey takes us next. Chapter 4: The Breath of Life. Take a slow breath in. Now breathe out. It feels simple, effortless, automatic. Most of us go through entire days without giving much thought to breathing. It happens while we sleep, while we work, while we talk, and while we dream. Yet every breath is part of one of the most important processes in the human body. Without food, a person can survive for weeks. Without water, survival may be measured in days. Without oxygen, however, life can be threatened within minutes. Every cell in your body depends upon a constant supply of oxygen, and it is the respiratory system that makes this possible. The average person takes between 20,000 and 25,000 breaths every day. Most occur entirely without conscious effort. Even now, you do not have to remind yourself to inhale or exhale. Specialized regions within the brain automatically regulate the process. Your body is constantly monitoring oxygen levels and adjusting your breathing accordingly. It is one of the many examples of how the body works tirelessly behind the scenes to keep you alive. The journey of a breath begins with the air around you. The Earth's atmosphere is composed primarily of nitrogen and oxygen, along with smaller amounts of other gases.
Of these, oxygen is the one your body needs most urgently. Every inhalation draws this oxygen-rich air into your respiratory system. Air enters through the nose or mouth and travels down the throat. From there, it passes through a structure called the trachea, often known as the windpipe. The trachea acts like a major highway leading toward the lungs. As it descends into the chest, it divides into two branches. One leads to the left lung, the other leads to the right. Inside the lungs, these branches continue dividing again and again. Larger airways become smaller airways. Those smaller airways branch into even finer passages. The pattern resembles the limbs of a tree. By the time the journey is complete, the respiratory system contains an enormous network of microscopic air passages. At the end of these passages lie tiny structures known as alveoli. The alveoli are among the most important structures in the entire body. They are microscopic air sacs where oxygen enters the bloodstream and carbon dioxide leaves it. Although each alveolus is incredibly small, the lungs contain hundreds of millions of them. Together, they create a vast surface area for gas exchange. If all the alveoli in your lungs were spread out flat, they would cover an area roughly comparable to a tennis court. All of that space exists inside your chest. This enormous surface area allows oxygen to move efficiently into the blood. When air reaches the alveoli, oxygen molecules pass through extremely thin walls and enter nearby capillaries. There, they encounter red blood cells. As we learned in the previous chapter, red blood cells contain hemoglobin, a protein designed to carry oxygen throughout the body. Like tiny delivery vehicles, these cells load oxygen and begin transporting it through the circulatory system. At the same time, carbon dioxide travels in the opposite direction. Carbon dioxide is a waste product created by cells as they produce energy. Too much of it can be harmful. The body must remove it continuously. The bloodstream carries carbon dioxide back to the lungs, where it passes into the alveoli and is eventually exhaled. Every breath is therefore an exchange. Oxygen comes in, carbon dioxide goes out. A process repeated thousands of times each day. This exchange may sound simple, but it supports nearly every activity in the body. To understand why oxygen is so important, we must look inside the cells themselves. Every cell requires energy. Muscles need energy to contract. The brain needs energy to process information. Organs need energy to perform their functions. Even cells that appear inactive are constantly carrying out chemical reactions. Energy powers life. Much of that energy comes from a process known as cellular respiration. Inside tiny structures called mitochondria, cells use oxygen to help release energy from nutrients obtained through food. The process is extraordinarily efficient. In fact, mitochondria are often called the power plants of the cell. Without oxygen, this system cannot function properly. Energy production rapidly declines. Cells begin to fail. This is why oxygen is so essential. Breathing is not merely about filling the lungs with air, it is about fueling every living cell in the body. The lungs themselves are remarkable organs. Unlike many organs, they contain no muscles capable of drawing air in on their own. Instead, breathing depends largely upon a powerful sheet of muscle located beneath the lungs. This muscle is called the diaphragm. When the diaphragm contracts, it moves downward. This creates additional space within the chest cavity. As the space expands, air is pulled into the lungs. When the diaphragm relaxes, the chest cavity becomes smaller and air is pushed out. The process is simple, elegant, and highly effective. Most of the time, breathing occurs automatically. Yet, unlike your heartbeat, breathing can also be controlled voluntarily. You can take a deep breath, hold your breath, breathe rapidly, or slow your breathing deliberately. This unusual combination of automatic and conscious control makes breathing unique among many bodily functions. Throughout history, people have recognized the connection between breathing and mental state. When frightened, breathing often becomes rapid. When relaxed, it slows. Modern research confirms that controlled breathing can influence heart rate, stress levels, and emotional well-being. Something as simple as a slow, steady breath can help calm the body.
The respiratory system also performs another important function. It allows us to speak. As air leaves the lungs, it passes through the vocal cords located within the larynx. The movement of air causes these structures to vibrate, producing sound. The tongue, lips, and mouth then shape these sounds into words. Every conversation, story, song, and spoken idea depends upon air moving through the respiratory system. Breathing not only sustains life, it makes communication possible. The lungs work continuously from birth until death. Most of the time, we hardly notice them, yet they are constantly adapting to changing circumstances. During exercise, muscles demand more oxygen. Breathing becomes deeper and faster. When resting, the demand decreases. The respiratory system adjusts accordingly. The body is always seeking balance. Despite their resilience, the lungs remain vulnerable to damage. Air pollution, smoking, disease, and infections can interfere with their ability to function. Throughout history, respiratory illnesses have posed significant challenges for humanity. Yet the lungs possess remarkable defenses. Tiny, hair-like structures help trap particles before they reach sensitive tissues. Mucus captures dust and microorganisms. Immune cells patrol the respiratory system, ready to respond to potential threats. The body constantly protects one of its most valuable resources. Because without breathing, nothing else can continue. Every thought in your brain, every beat of your heart, every movement of your muscles, every memory and emotion, all depend upon oxygen. The respiratory system provides the fuel that powers the body's countless activities. But oxygen alone is not enough. Cells also require nutrients. They need raw materials from which energy can be extracted. Every meal you have ever eaten has contributed to this process. Food becomes fuel, fuel becomes energy, and energy sustains life. In the next chapter, we will follow the journey of food through the body and explore another remarkable system that helps keep us alive. We will discover how the body transforms a meal into energy and how it defends itself against the countless threats it encounters every day. The story of survival is only beginning. Chapter 5: Fuel and Defense. Every day, your body performs a remarkable balancing act. It must constantly acquire energy from the outside world while simultaneously protecting itself from countless threats. Food provides the fuel. The immune system provides the defense. Together, they help ensure survival. Most of us think about eating as a simple part of daily life. We sit down for a meal, enjoy the food, and move on with our day.
Yet beneath the surface, an extraordinary process begins. The human body cannot use a sandwich, an apple, or a bowl of pasta directly. Food must first be broken down into smaller components. Only then can it be transformed into the energy and materials required to sustain life. This process begins the moment food enters the mouth. Your teeth perform the first stage of digestion. Different teeth have different jobs. Incisors cut. Canines tear. Molars grind. Together, they reduce food into smaller pieces, increasing the surface area available for further digestion. At the same time, saliva begins its work. Produced by specialized glands, saliva contains enzymes that start breaking down certain carbohydrates before food has even been swallowed. What appears to be a simple act of chewing is actually the beginning of a highly coordinated biological process. Once swallowed, food travels down the esophagus and enters the stomach. The stomach is often imagined as a large empty bag waiting to be filled. In reality, it is a muscular organ capable of remarkable chemical and mechanical activity. Powerful muscles churn food into a thick mixture. Meanwhile, acids and digestive enzymes begin breaking it apart. The stomach environment is extremely harsh. Its acid is strong enough to damage many materials and destroy numerous microorganisms. To protect itself, the stomach continuously produces a layer of mucus that shields its own tissues. Without this protection, the stomach could begin digesting itself. After spending time in the stomach, partially digested food enters the small intestine. Despite its name, the small intestine is anything but small. If stretched out, it would measure several meters in length. Its enormous surface area makes it one of the most important organs in the digestive system. Here, digestion reaches its most critical stage. Additional enzymes break food into its basic components. Proteins become amino acids. Carbohydrates become simple sugars. Fats are broken into smaller molecules. These nutrients can now be absorbed into the bloodstream. The walls of the small intestine contain millions of tiny finger-like projections called villi. These structures dramatically increase the surface area available for absorption. Together, they create a vast interface between the digestive system and the circulatory system, Nutrients pass through the intestinal wall and enter the blood. From there, they are transported throughout the body. Every organ, tissue, and cell depends on this steady supply. The food you ate hours ago may soon become part of a muscle cell, a brain cell, or a drop of blood. The transformation is astonishing. Matter from the outside world literally becomes part of you. The nutrients absorbed through digestion serve many purposes. Some provide immediate energy, others are stored for future use. Some become building materials for growth and repair. Proteins help construct tissues. Minerals strengthen bones. Vitamins support countless biological processes. The body is constantly collecting, distributing, and using these resources. At the center of this energy system are the cells themselves. As we learned earlier, cells contain structures called mitochondria. These microscopic power plants convert nutrients and oxygen into usable energy. Every movement you make, every thought you think, every heartbeat, every breath, all depend upon energy generated within trillions of tiny cellular engines.
The human body requires a surprising amount of energy. Even while resting, your organs continue working. Your brain remains active. Your heart continues beating. Your lungs continue breathing. This baseline energy use is known as metabolism. It represents the energy required simply to stay alive. The body's need for energy explains why hunger exists. Hunger is not merely a feeling. It is part of a sophisticated communication system. Hormones and signals from various organs help regulate appetite, encouraging us to seek food when energy supplies begin to decline. In many ways, hunger is one of evolution's most important survival mechanisms. Without it, obtaining the resources necessary for life would become far less reliable. Yet every meal presents a challenge. Food provides nourishment, but it can also serve as a pathway for harmful microorganisms. The outside world contains countless bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites. Many are harmless. Some are beneficial. Others can cause disease. As food enters the body, it passes through one of the largest interfaces between ourselves and the external environment. Protection becomes essential. This is where the immune system enters the story. The immune system is one of the most extraordinary defense networks ever produced by evolution. Its task is simple in principle, but enormously difficult in practice. It must identify threats and eliminate them while leaving the body's own cells unharmed. Every day, the immune system encounters countless potential invaders. Most of these battles occur without our awareness. The body quietly wins them before symptoms ever appear. The first line of defense is surprisingly simple: your skin. Far more than a protective covering, the skin acts as a physical barrier preventing many microorganisms from entering the body. It is the largest organ you possess and one of the most effective defenses against infection. Other barriers exist as well. Mucus traps particles. Tears contain antimicrobial substances. Stomach acid destroys many pathogens before they can establish themselves. These defenses form a protective shield around the body. Yet some invaders still manage to get through. When that happens, specialized immune cells spring into action. Among the most important are white blood cells. Unlike red blood cells, which transport oxygen, white blood cells serve as defenders. They patrol the body, searching for signs of danger. When they detect invading organisms, they attack. Some engulf bacteria directly. Others coordinate broader immune responses. Still others produce antibodies, specialized proteins designed to recognize and neutralize specific threats. The immune system operates with astonishing precision. It can distinguish between your own cells and foreign organisms. It can remember previous infections, and it can respond more rapidly when encountering the same threat again. This memory forms the basis of immunity. Once exposed to certain pathogens, the body becomes better prepared for future encounters. Vaccines take advantage of this ability. Rather than waiting for a dangerous infection to occur, vaccines train the immune system in advance. They introduce harmless versions or components of pathogens, allowing the body to develop defenses safely. As a result, if the real pathogen appears later, the immune system can respond far more effectively. Vaccination ranks among the most important medical advances in human history. It has saved millions of lives and dramatically reduced the impact of many diseases.
The immune system also plays a crucial role in healing. When you cut your skin, a complex repair process begins almost immediately. Blood clotting prevents excessive bleeding. Immune cells clear away damaged tissue and potential pathogens. New cells are produced. Gradually, the wound closes and repairs itself.
The ability of the body to heal is so familiar that we often overlook how remarkable it truly is. A cut on your finger triggers a coordinated biological response involving millions of cells working together toward a common goal. Even now, your immune system is active. It is monitoring your body, inspecting cells, searching for signs of trouble, protecting you from threats you may never know existed. Much like the heart and lungs, it rarely receives attention when functioning properly. Its greatest successes often go unnoticed. Together, digestion and immunity reveal two fundamental truths about life. Every organism must acquire resources, and every organism must defend itself. The human body performs both tasks with extraordinary efficiency. Food becomes energy. Energy powers life. The immune system protects that life from harm. Yet survival requires more than energy and defense. To interact with the world, we must move. We must see, hear, touch, and respond to our surroundings. The ability to explore, communicate, and experience reality depends upon another remarkable collection of systems. Systems that allow us to move through the world and understand it. And that is where our journey continues next. Chapter 6: Movement and the Senses. Take a moment and consider how many actions your body performs every day. You stand up from a chair, walk across a room, pick up a glass, turn a page, smile at a friend, look at a sunset, listen to music, feel the warmth of sunlight on your skin. Most of these actions seem effortless. Yet behind every movement and every sensation lies an astonishing network of structures working together with incredible precision. Your ability to interact with the world depends on two remarkable systems. The first allows you to move. The second allows you to perceive. Together, they transform the human body from a collection of organs into an active participant in the world around it. Let us begin with movement. At the core of every movement lies the skeleton. The adult human body contains 206 bones. At first glance, bones may appear lifeless and unchanging. They seem more like stone than living tissue. In reality, bones are very much alive. They contain blood vessels, nerves, and specialized cells constantly maintaining and repairing their structure. Throughout your life, your skeleton is continuously rebuilding itself. Old bone is removed. New bone is created. Even the strongest bones are constantly being renewed. The skeleton serves several important functions. It provides support. Without it, the body would collapse into a soft mass of tissue. It protects vital organs. The skull shields the brain. The rib cage protects the heart and lungs. The spine safeguards the delicate spinal cord. Bones also store important minerals such as calcium and phosphorus, which the body can access when needed. But perhaps most importantly, the skeleton provides the framework for movement. Bones alone cannot move. For that, the body relies on muscles. The human body contains more than 600 muscles. Together, they account for a significant portion of your total body weight. Some muscles are large and powerful. Others are small and specialized. Each plays a role in helping you interact with the world. Muscles work by contracting. When a muscle contracts, it shortens. Because muscles are attached to bones by tough connective tissues called tendons, this contraction pulls on the skeleton and creates movement. Most movements require multiple muscles working together. To bend your arm, one muscle contracts while another relaxes. To walk, dozens of muscles coordinate with remarkable precision. Every step represents a carefully orchestrated sequence of contractions and relaxations. The process is so seamless that we rarely notice it. Yet movement is one of the most complex activities the body performs. Consider something as simple as reaching for a cup. Your eyes locate the object, your brain calculates its position. Signals travel through nerves to specific muscles. Your arm moves, your hand adjusts its grip. Your fingers apply just enough force to hold the cup without crushing it. Hundreds of separate actions occur within seconds. The coordination is extraordinary. The body's ability to maintain balance is equally impressive. Standing upright may feel effortless, but it requires constant adjustments. Tiny muscles throughout your body are continuously responding to subtle shifts in position. Even when you believe you are standing perfectly still, your body is making countless corrections to prevent you from falling. This balancing act depends partly on information from a remarkable sensory system located within the inner ear. The inner ear is often associated with hearing, but it also contains structures responsible for balance. Tiny fluid-filled canals detect movement and changes in head position. As you move, fluid shifts within these canals, providing information to the brain about your orientation in space. Without this system, even simple movements would become difficult. Dizziness and disorientation can occur when these signals become disrupted. Balance is therefore not simply a matter of muscle strength. It is a sophisticated collaboration between multiple systems working together. Of course, movement alone would be of little use without information about the world around us. This is where the senses come into play. The senses serve as the body's connection to the external world. They provide the information necessary for survival, learning, and experience. Perhaps the most dominant of these senses is vision. Human eyes are extraordinary organs. Light enters through the front of the eye and is focused onto a layer of specialized cells at the back called the retina. These cells convert light into electrical signals. The signals travel through the optic nerve to the brain. There, they are transformed into the images you experience. Remarkably, the eyes do not actually see. They merely collect information. Vision occurs within the brain. The colorful, detailed world you perceive is the result of your brain interpreting signals received from the eyes. The process happens so quickly that it feels effortless. Yet it represents one of the most sophisticated feats of biological information processing. The human eye can detect millions of colors and function across a wide range of lighting conditions. It continuously adjusts focus, allowing you to view both nearby and distant objects. Every moment, your visual system provides an immense amount of information about your surroundings. Hearing is equally remarkable. Sound consists of vibrations traveling through the air. When these vibrations reach your ears, they are collected and directed toward the eardrum. The vibrations cause tiny bones within the middle ear to move. These movements are transferred to the inner ear, where specialized cells convert them into electrical signals. The brain interprets these signals as sound. Through this process, you can hear music, speech, rainfall, birdsong, and countless other sounds. The ear is sensitive enough to detect extremely subtle vibrations, yet it can also process a wide variety of sounds occurring simultaneously. Touch provides another essential source of information. Your skin contains millions of sensory receptors. Some detect pressure, others respond to temperature, still others sense pain or vibration. Together, they create a detailed map of the physical world. Touch allows you to feel the texture of fabric, the warmth of a cup of tea, or the gentle breeze on your face. Pain, though unpleasant, serves an important purpose as well. It warns of potential damage and encourages protective behavior. Without pain, injuries could go unnoticed and become far more dangerous. Smell and taste complete the traditional five senses. Although often overlooked, they play powerful roles in human experience. Smell is closely connected to memory and emotion. A familiar scent can instantly transport us back to a childhood moment or a forgotten experience. Taste helps evaluate food and identify important nutrients, while also helping us avoid potentially harmful substances. In reality, flavor is a combination of both taste and smell working together. Much of what we think of as taste actually comes from aromas detected by the nose. Yet perhaps the most remarkable aspect of the senses is not the organs themselves. BFF, not get deeply. Much of what we think of as taste actually comes from aromas detected by the nose. Yet perhaps the most remarkable aspect of the senses is not the organs themselves. It is what happens after the information reaches the brain. Every second, enormous amounts of sensory data flow into the nervous system. The brain must organize, interpret, and make sense of it all. It combines signals from the eyes, ears, skin, and other sensory organs into a coherent picture of reality. Without this processing, the world would be a chaotic collection of unrelated signals. Instead, we experience a seamless and meaningful reality. The senses do not merely allow us to survive, they allow us to appreciate beauty, to enjoy music, to admire art, to feel the embrace of another person, to experience the richness of life itself. Movement and perception work together to create our daily experience of the world. Through muscles and bones, we act. Through the senses, we observe. Through the brain, we understand. Together, these systems allow us to explore our environment and connect with those around us. Yet no matter how active or aware we become, there is one activity that every human must eventually return to. An activity so important that we spend roughly 1/3 of our lives doing it. A state in which the body rests, repairs, and renews itself. A state that remains, in many ways, one of the greatest mysteries in biology. Sleep, and it is there that our journey through the human body reaches its final chapter. Chapter 7. Sleep, Aging, and the Human Journey. As day turns to night and the world grows quieter, something remarkable begins to happen. Your muscles relax. Your breathing slows. Your awareness of the outside world gradually fades. And eventually, without conscious effort, you drift into sleep. For something we spend roughly 1/3 of our lives doing, sleep remains surprisingly mysterious. Every human being sleeps. Every mammal sleeps. Even many birds, reptiles, and other animals experience some form of sleep. Yet for centuries, nobody truly understood why. At first glance, sleep seems like a disadvantage. A sleeping animal cannot hunt, gather food, or remain fully alert to danger. From an evolutionary perspective, spending hours unconscious every day appears risky,
and yet sleep evolved again and again throughout the natural world. The reason is simple. Life depends on it. Scientists have discovered that sleep is not a period of inactivity. The sleeping brain remains remarkably busy. While your body rests, countless processes continue behind the scenes. Memories are organized, information is processed, cells repair damage, hormones are released. The body uses sleep as an opportunity for maintenance and recovery. Without sufficient sleep, these processes begin to suffer. Concentration declines. Memory becomes less reliable. Reaction times slow. Mood can change dramatically. Given enough sleep deprivation, even basic thinking becomes difficult. Sleep is not a luxury. It is a biological necessity. Throughout the night, the brain cycles through different stages of sleep. Some stages involve deep restorative rest. Others are lighter. One of the most fascinating stages is known as LM sleep, short for rapid eye movement sleep. During REM sleep, brain activity increases dramatically. It is during this period that many of our most vivid dreams occur. Dreams have fascinated humanity for thousands of years.
Ancient cultures often viewed them as messages from gods, glimpses of the future, or journeys into spiritual realms. Today, scientists approach dreams from a biological perspective. Yet even now, many questions remain unanswered. Why do we dream? What purpose do dreams serve? No single explanation has gained universal acceptance. Some researchers believe dreams help process memories and emotions. Others suggest they may simply be a byproduct of brain activity during sleep. Whatever their purpose, dreams remain one of the most intriguing aspects of human experience. Night after night, our minds create entire worlds while we sleep. Sleep also plays a crucial role in learning. When you practice a new skill or learn new information, the brain begins forming and strengthening connections between neurons. Sleep appears to help stabilize these changes. In many cases, people perform better on learned tasks after a good night's sleep than they did immediately after practicing. The brain continues working long after conscious effort has ended. It is as though sleep helps transform experiences into lasting knowledge. For much of human history, people underestimated the importance of sleep. Modern research has changed that view dramatically. Scientists now recognize sleep as one of the foundations of health, alongside nutrition and physical activity. The body cannot function at its best without adequate rest, yet sleep represents only one chapter in the larger story of the human body. The journey begins at birth. It continues through childhood, adulthood, and old age. Throughout this journey, the body is constantly changing. This process is known as aging. Aging is one of the most universal experiences in life. Every living organism ages. Every human being ages. It is a process so familiar that we often overlook how extraordinary it truly is. When we are young, growth dominates. Cells divide rapidly. Bones lengthen. Muscles strengthen. The body develops and matures. For many years, repair systems operate with remarkable efficiency. Injuries heal quickly. Damage is corrected. The body appears almost limitless. But no biological system lasts forever. Over time, tiny forms of damage begin to accumulate. Cells experience wear and tear. DNA can become damaged. Proteins may lose efficiency. Repair mechanisms gradually become less effective. These changes occur slowly, often over decades.
The effects may be subtle at first, a little less strength, a little slower recovery, a few more wrinkles, yet together they form the process we call aging. Scientists have spent generations trying to understand why aging occurs. The answer is complex. There is no single cause. Instead, aging appears to result from many interacting factors. Some involve accumulated cellular damage. Others involve changes in gene activity. Still others involve the gradual decline of systems responsible for maintenance and repair. Despite tremendous advances in biology, aging remains one of the great challenges of science. The body's ability to repair itself is extraordinary, but it is not unlimited. And yet, there is another way to view aging, not simply as decline, but as a record of a life lived. Every scar tells a story. Every wrinkle reflects years of expression, experience, and survival. The body carries the history of a lifetime within its tissues. In many ways, aging is evidence of resilience, a testament to everything the body has endured and overcome. The average human body performs an astonishing amount of work over the course of a lifetime. The heart may beat more than 3 billion times. The lungs may take hundreds of millions of breaths. The brain may store decades of memories. The immune system may fight countless battles against disease. The skeleton supports the body through years of movement and activity. The senses gather information from the world for decades on end. Taken together, these achievements are remarkable, and all of them emerge from the cooperation of trillions of tiny cells. As we reach the end of our journey, it is worth reflecting on just how extraordinary the human body truly is. It begins as a single cell. From that microscopic beginning emerges a living system of almost unimaginable complexity, a system capable of movement, thought, emotion, creativity, and awareness. A system that can learn, adapt, heal, and survive. Throughout this documentary, we have explored cells, DNA, the brain, the heart, the lungs, digestion, immunity, movement, and the senses. Each system is impressive on its own, yet the true wonder lies in how they work together. No organ exists in isolation. No system operates alone. The human body is a vast community of interconnected parts, each depending on the others. And somehow from this cooperation emerges the experience of being human, the ability to look up at the stars, to ask questions, to seek knowledge, to tell stories, to love, to dream, and to imagine. Perhaps that is the greatest mystery of all, that the same biological processes which move blood through our veins and oxygen through our lungs also give rise to thoughts, memories, and consciousness. The human body is more than a collection of organs. It is one of nature's greatest achievements, a living machine, billions of years in the making. And whether we are awake or asleep, young or old, every moment of our lives is made possible by the extraordinary systems working quietly within us. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the incredible machine inside you. And now, as our story comes to an end, it may be time to do what the body has been encouraging humans to do for millions of years. Close your eyes, take a slow breath, and rest.